say that you love people. 1 John 3 verse 18 says, "Let's not merely say that we love each other. Let us show the truth by our actions." As you know, love is a verb. Love is a doing word. Therefore, let us not just say that we love each other, but let us show our love by our actions. Hi there, it's your girl Nene Cherry. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time tuning in, you are welcome. You know, if you've been here for some time and you're not yet subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do subscribe. Subscribe so that you can become one of the MVPs, and the MVPs know this and they say all this all the time. Do like, do comment, and do share as to many people as you can. I mean, this helps me grow my content. So today I will be talking about today's dilemma, right? And when you think about today's dilemma, you might be thinking about poverty, you might be talking about sickness, you might be talking about death, you might be talking about crime. And I know that that's our dilemma of today, but there's also something that we rarely talk about. I know that they're given one or two times of celebration, and these are people in defense, the people that are in military. You know, they're doing so much that we don't give them that much of an appreciation. Now, not only them, but talk about of the family. And this is where I want to focus our lesson. And it's a short one. Just stay with me and you will understand what I'm trying to say. So today's dilemma is that someone is married but is living single. I do not know if you understand this. And it speaks of the people that are in military, because deployed rather for about 6 months, 2 years, some 3 years, and I don't know how long, because yes, I think I know 2 or 3 people that are in military that are quite close, but I haven't had, had that an eye opener that this is what's happening to their family. All right. So now think of it. Someone is married but living single, and not only single but being a single parent. And my belief is that a woman cannot raise a male child and a man cannot raise a female child. And I want to also believe that there's a reason why God had to make man and a woman, and to put them in a family setup, because I think it speaks of sense of stability. It speaks of balance. It speaks of unity. It speaks of partnership. And it's also in the Bible, rather, where it says when one is down, one can what? Bring the other one up. But just think of having your spouse that is distant from you. And this can also apply to those that are not actively involved, whereby they are around, but they're not actively involved in a home. Yeah, this is why I feel like God's design is perfect, okay? But then in this case, for these people who are in defense, I feel like I'm comfortable in saying the people that are in military, right? It's not like it's their choice. And I'm just thinking back to, like, the years behind me, where it was by force actually for graduates to enter into military. And I don't know if somebody can say something about that. At least for those people in the olden times, once you graduate, you are put into military to go and serve. And then maybe when you serve for a certain time of the year, then they'll give you like sponsorship. You go to school and then you can get into whatever you wanted to do. Sharing this is because today I read, when I was doing my morning worship, so there was a story that came about where this lady called Laura, she noticed a lady with some kids at home. So naturally, it feels like if there's a woman and kids, then there must be a man, right? And then at least if you need to see the man once in a while. And I know that, yes, we do not want to play oblivious that they are single parents as well, due maybe to being a widow and whatnot. But in this case, maybe she also thought, because she was quite young, and so she thought there must be a husband. But as time went by, she realized that, man, the husband has never showed up at church. And so she was inclined to, like, you know what, I need to get closer to this woman and see if she's comfortable and if she's okay. And then maybe I could help her in one way or two, for the fact that she had children and she was alone. And so she invited this lady, and then upon inviting this lady, she then realized that she is actually a military wife. And then she was like, okay, that's cool. And she didn't even know how her conversation would be, because she has never had anyone that close in her friends zone, can I put it this way, and her family, that would have been in military. So she didn't even know, what would I ask, would she be uncomfortable with certain things. But it so happened that when they had that lunch, this other lady was so nice and warm, but it touched her heart to know that she had never seen her husband in like 3 years. And imagine that. So how does she survive? We're not talking about maybe she's not working or anything. There's that thing, and we're not also talking about intimacy, if you may want to think in that manner. But just to know that you are married, so you need a companion, but your companion is not around. How does that feel? How do you then again be able to adapt with the children alone, and also how do you make your children to adapt, because everything becomes double for you at home, and then think of the stress of I don't know if they do communicate maybe through phones, because now it has evolved, maybe phone, Skype, and whatever it could be, or even letters. Then to just receive a knock on the door and to be told otherwise of your husband, or to be called and say this is what has happened to your husband. So that fear, the constant fear that you have to live with it. Now, my sharing of this was to be like, let us be kind, obviously, to one another, but in this sense, to these people, if you could just pray for them, for the strength, for the courage, and also if you are able to fill in the need for them, there are some people that I've seen, or even the movies that I've watched, where you find that somebody has been saving for years and only to come back and become homeless, and maybe they have mental issues and whatnot. These people really, really need our support. And it just came to me to realize that, this is tough work, and it cannot be for everybody. I feel like these military wives or spouses, because I mean that sometimes you find that it's a woman that's saving and the man is at home. It You have to be like put apart or aside, designed, like rightfully designed by God, that you will be a partner to somebody who's in military, because it cannot just be anybody, because not everyone can take that pressure. Not everyone can understand the kind of work, because I mean, when you're dating, and there's this thing of, there's talking stage, and there's whatever, getting to know each other and whatever it could be, and then you'll be thinking that, you know what, I can do this before even getting married. But I don't think anyone prepares a military woman or a military man on how to live separate. I know for some it's 6 years, some it's 6 months, some it could be, I do not know for how long, but it takes a strong person to be in that situation. And not that they are strong, but it is the community around them that keeps them strong. And that community, it's us. That community, it's even, again, their fellow women that have the military men, or their fellow men that are in military. I'm reminded of a movie that I watched. I think it's called Military Wives, and it touched me because there's Roxy, and I feel like you haven't heard Roxy in the longest time, right? Today she's featuring. Anywho, Military Wives. Yes, that's where I was. It touched my heart. In this movie, it's exciting. It's also sad at the same time. It's overwhelming and heartbreaking, if I would put it this way. But it was something that, for me, I feel like I needed to watch for me to even understand what these people go through. And then why I'm sharing it here, it's because I'm talking about community, right? So in that military wife, they had a community of women coming together. And yes, there are some that were meeting for skills. I think they were meeting twice a week or so. So they will meet and learn a skill and whatnot. But with this particular military wives, they bonded through music. All right, and they wrote. There's this song which I cannot sing, but if you could go watch that, that would be okay. Not that I'm trying to promote it, but I just want you to understand what I'm talking about and how we need to be supportive, and the community, how the community of having like-minded people helps you to actually push through. So they would bond through what? Music. And yeah, and not only that, I remember there was one girl who was, I think, younger than everybody else that was there, lost her husband while he was serving out there, and it was time for her to leave, and that was so heartbreaking. But I remember seeing her in the movie whereby she was even actually asking to say, you know what, I know that I won't be part of this military circle, but can I please just stay in the choir because of the bonds that they created? So now imagine of a person, maybe because they're moving from one place to another, that will mean that they have to create new friends. They have to, learn things again or unlearn certain things because of what they learned and because they're moving from place to place. Imagine that. So if we could be of help, find out what you could do. And I remember Laura, in the story of the lady that I was reading this morning, she was actually asking, how can I be of help? Because she was so touched that this lady had not seen her husband in 3 years. And the lady said, you're actually doing it right now by inviting me to your place, by making me feel welcomed and warm to know that I can, lean on you, have a meal with you and try to bond. And that way you're also helping me, and even just to say, how are you, to just check up on me, it helps. And now think of, if this is what is can be done to these women, think of a person who's also just living normal. These are the certain things these are things, not even certain things, these are the things that they need. So today's dilemma is that of so many families of the militaries, they're facing this. And so if we could just help by being there to support them in whatever way that we could. I just want to read here where it was saying, you can save those who are saving you by praying for the families they leave behind. So the military men that are going out there, the defense men that are out there, we can what? Pray for their families because they are leaving them behind. It's not that they do not want to stay with their families, but they feel like there's a greater calling in them that they go and stand for the nation so that for our sake we can be saved with whatever we cannot even see, and that we may live in peace. And also another thing which they're talking about and which I'm trying to actually promote here is that befriending them will really actually help them, and reaching out with practical assistance and companionship. It's what needs to be done. So I think our prayer today should be, Father, help me to be more sensitive to the plight of military families. Show me how I can lend a hand. Please, let us remember them, because that's the dilemma that we are facing today. Otherwise, stay blessed. Remember to subscribe, like, and do share as to many people as you can. And remember to comment. I would like to hear from you, or maybe even the experiences that you've had with your close friends or your loved ones that are serving. Bye-bye.